Hi everyone, my name is Maida Aurora and I am so excited about this episode because I'm going to be telling you all of the things that I wish I knew before I became an actor, a little bit of tips and tricks on how to get started, as well as some regrets that I have and some lessons that I learned that were different from what I had expected and some different from some of the traditional advice that you get a lot of the time. Any of that resonates with you, I really hope that you enjoy this video. And a TLDR about me, I'm an actor based in Toronto, Ontario. I'm an ACTRA Apprentice, so I am a union actor alongside my Bachelor of Commerce. I studied theater, and then when I graduated, I got film and TV specific training. If you have any questions about anything that I say in this video, leave a comment below. I will 100% get back to you. You know when people are posting those TikToks and their hair is just in their face while they're doing their makeup, and it's so obviously rage bait because their makeup is getting on their hair, and it's like, please, but they do so well. Ugh, you gotta play the game, I guess, but I don't respect it. I remember when I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know where to start. All I would do all day is watch these like interviews of the actors, trying to find people who had like a slow start or a rough start or didn't have connections, and they came from nothing and they were able to make it into the industry. And I loved those stories. But then one day I came across this interview, and I can't remember who it was. It could have been Lily Collins. And she's not the first person to say this to me. Like, I've heard this from mentors that I've had that are actors working in the industry. And they say, if you can imagine yourself happy doing any other career other than acting, do it. It's such a difficult career to take on because it's just filled with rejection. It's really difficult. The pay is not that good. So at the time I was like, why would you say that to someone who wants to pursue a career in acting? Like, that's so discouraging, that's so demotivating. But now that it's been about like a year and a half since I finished acting school, that's just wonderful. Now that it's been about a year and a half since I've graduated acting school, I kind of understand what they mean, because if I could imagine myself doing something else and being happy and fulfilled, and like, I would honestly choose it. I continue to struggle and kind of go through rejection every single day because like I can't see myself doing anything else. There's nothing I can imagine that would make me as happy as I am when I'm on stage or in front of a camera. So I know it sounds harsh, but honestly, that's my advice to you as well. If you could picture yourself happy doing literally anything else in life, I highly recommend that you pursue it. A lot of advice that I hear is, should I have a plan B? Or do I need to have a plan B? And does having a plan B mean I'm not focused enough on my plan A? My answer to whether or not you need a plan B is really dependent on, do your parents have money to support you, or do you have financial support if it takes a little bit of time to get your career off the ground? That's the difference between needing a plan B or not, to be completely honest with you. So the question kind of becomes, what 9 to 5 should I have? And here's what I used to think. I used to think that if your plan A can't make you money, or if the money that comes from your plan A is going to be inconsistent or unreliable, then your plan B should be something that obviously makes you money. And although the logic kind of makes sense with that one, what I now know, and that you should know too, is that you need to make sure that your plan B is not a plan B, but instead a plan A part 2. And what I mean by that is it's something that can sustain you while you're pursuing a career as an actor, that gives you money, but also provides you fulfillment in your life, and it's something that you enjoy. Because acting is such a difficult career. You're facing rejection day after day after day. And then if on top of that, you hate your 9 to 5, you're miserable, you're not going to love your life. And also, like, pursuing a career in this field takes time, especially at the beginning. It takes time to book things, to find an agent, to build a demo reel, to do all of those things. I think a big kind of like secret to the industry is being able to keep yourself mentally well enough to sustain a long career in this industry, so you can actually see if it works out for you, if you like it, instead of like being miserable and then giving up after a year or two because you're not seeing any progress. Also, so this is a bit of a side note, but I'm watching Schitt's Creek right now, which is a Canadian produced sitcom comedy. I love it so much. Alexis Rose in the show, she's going to college, and her brother goes, "Isn't that the college where Malala gave the terrible commencement speech?" And then Alexis says, "I don't know who he is, so." I don't know why I found that so funny. I'm not saying it right, okay? It's season 4, episode 1, but it's a really good show. I highly recommend you watch it. So an example of some of the 9 to 5s that I see other people that graduated with me who studied acting are doing while they're pursuing acting as a career are usually acting adjacent careers. They're working in arts administration or they're working for a theater in whatever degree they did. I see a lot of actors pursuing content creation while they're trying to build a career as an actor. But essentially the bottom line is, if you want to act and you know that a career like medicine or investment banking will make you money, those aren't the best careers to have alongside acting unless you also genuinely love them and could see yourself pursuing a career with them alone. So really ask yourself, other than acting, what do I love? What do I love to do? And then think, how could I make money out of this thing? And that's a great starting point for your plan A part 2. I think the more that you prepare yourself for this idea that it will take time to build a career in this industry, that you will experience a lot of rejection, that you might not be happy all of the time, the more that you're mentally prepared for that going in, the more you'll be able to sustain yourself for a longer and more successful career. Another reason why I think it's really important that you have something that you love that makes you money alongside acting is because becoming an actor is expensive. Training is expensive. Getting a demo reel is expensive. Getting headshots is expensive, and you need money to fund all of those things. And I think it makes the industry a little bit of elitist in that sense. I don't know how they'd ever fix it, but a lot of the actors that you do see that end up making it come from wealthy backgrounds. I think that's also another reason why you don't see a lot of POC going into acting or pursuing careers in the arts. And it's not just because their parents persuade them away from it, but it's also just on a completely practical scale. They don't have the generational wealth to support it. They need to make money out of college to pay off student debt or help their parents at home or start building savings for themselves to be able to provide for themselves. They don't have someone that can pay their bills for them. And you need that if you're pursuing acting only. Another thing that I think every actor should do if you want to be an actor is get training, because acting might come naturally to you, but training will take you to a whole nother level. They teach you, and if you have the means, I recommend getting training in theater, because I think that some of the most phenomenal actors we see out there, both in Hollywood and in Bollywood, have theater training. And I think that's because theater training, they teach you more about acting and how to act and how to embody a character. And then film and TV training teach you more about like the technical aspect, where to look, how to stand, how to hit your mark, things like that. But essentially theater training goes a lot more in depth about how to embody your character fully. It's so satisfying to watch. Everyone says as an actor that you need to desensitize yourself to rejection. You need to build thick skin. It's really hard because in acting school, all they teach you is how to stop having thick skin. You need thin skin in order to have emotions and be able to portray a character that's going through something and have empathy for them in a way that you're not going to. That's why actors are like, you'll kind of notice they're usually highly sensitive, highly emotional people. So then to ask those same group of people, that same personality type, to have thick skin is really hard. Everyone's always like, you need to have thick skin. I can't talk, sorry. Carve out a non-existent jawline over here. I'm gonna give you 3 ways that you can actually desensitize yourself to rejection without just kind of, oh, that's so much contour. It's really hard to see how much product you're putting on your face when you're using your iPhone front camera as your mirror. I'll blend it out. We're gonna trust the process. We'll make it work. A lot of my makeup brushes and sponges right now are in like the to wash pile because they fell on the ground or they've just been like, have not been washed in a really long time. So that's why we're working with what we have. Nah. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Trust the process, please. I will fix this. One strategy that I've seen that some actors do is they keep track of the number of auditions that they have, and then they tell themselves that, you know, I'm not gonna freak out or I'm not gonna question this career until I get to a specific number. So I think I saw one, don't quote me on this, but I think it was Brie Larson, and she basically said that her grandma or someone in her life told her that it takes the average actor around 65 auditions before they book their first role. And so then she told herself that she's not going to give up on acting until she gets to the number 65, and then she booked her first role at something like 64. Another one that I've heard is like giving yourself a time limit. So you can quote me on this one. It's from, who plays Jim in The Office? What's his name again? Oh my god, I should know this. He's married to Emily Blunt. John Krasinski. So he gave himself 5 years, and he said that after 5 years, I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna leave New York City, and I'm not gonna pursue this career anymore because I just can't do it anymore. He was working like Joe Jobs to make money. His mom told him something along the lines of just give it 1 more week or give it 1 more month. Because his 5 years had passed, he gave it that little bit more time, and then he ended up booking The Office during that time, and that launched his career into stardom. I personally am not a fan of like the arbitrary number benchmark. Sometimes it does help people get through like the audition after audition after audition, audition when they're experiencing rejection because they're just like, oh, this is number 23, this is number 24. I'm not going to overthink it until I get to 65 or until I get to 5 years. So that's a strategy that works for some people. If it works for you, by all means, use it. The reason why I don't use that strategy is because it kind of freaks me out a bit, because what if I get to 65 and I haven't booked anything yet? And I think the difference is that the first year that I was doing acting, I was just figuring things out. I was figuring out the industry. I had gotten so much wrong. I had no idea what background work was or extra work was. So I used to do that kind of work and I would audition for it. And it just took me a lot of time to figure out the industry because I didn't have videos like this where someone was kind of explaining it to me. So the whole first year just went by with that. I got an agent, I left my agent. And so I don't like the arbitrary timeline. And because acting really makes me happy, I really love to do it. I feel like I'm good at it. And so I don't want to put this time limit on myself because it freaks me out a bit, because what if it doesn't happen by then? And what is even this concept of like happen? What does happen mean? What does making it mean? Like, is it when you book your first job? What if you don't see the job is big enough in your head? Or you book a job and then it never airs, or you book a job and it lasts you 2 weeks and then you're auditioning again. Like, it's a gig job. You will always for some period of time be unemployed in this position. So I don't think that's a sustainable way to build a career. The way that I have desensitized myself to auditions is I think of auditioning as the job. Showing up and doing the best that I can is my job. And then also I really try to avoid perfectionism. Like, I'm not going to be able to be perfect for every single audition, but I can just do the best that I can. And I also prioritize. So if there's 2 auditions in a very small time frame, I think, honestly, do I have the better chance for? Like, if the character description is more niche, for example, if they're looking for like a young South Asian girl versus like a young girl, I'm going to give the young South Asian girl more effort because that's a smaller competition pool that I'm playing within. So that's one way that I prioritize if I have a lot of auditions in a small time frame. And another way that I prioritize is based on like which project excites me more, you know? Because sometimes you do have to choose. But regardless, I think of auditioning as the job. And I also don't keep track of auditions. I don't have a spreadsheet where I see like this I auditioned for and I got this one and I didn't get this one. And I'm a spreadsheet person. I'm a spreadsheet person all the way. But I don't keep track of my auditions because I feel like that would just be depressing for me. Like, oh, here's 50 things I auditioned for that I didn't book. Instead, I just like kind of try to forget about it as soon as I'm out of the room. Like, forget about the project completely. If I hear back, I hear back. If I don't, I don't. And we'll figure it out then, you know? Like, you do need to desensitize yourself to rejection. And it's completely okay to get sad and start to get demoralized, but one thing I will say is don't let it define your self-worth by any means. It says nothing about you or who you are and how good of an actor you are. It really says nothing. I've seen videos from casting directors that explain that sometimes they love the people, but it just doesn't work out, that project with the people that are in the room. There are a million reasons why it couldn't work out that are different from you and have nothing to do with you. I've auditioned for projects where I've gotten really, really close to the end of being cast and then they shut the project down. So, you know, like, you kind of can't keep track of it and you can't let it get to you. You can't let the rejection get to you, which is why it's really important, like I said before, that you have something else in your life that you love to do, that fuels you with fulfillment and passion, and that gives you like high self-esteem, because you probably will not be getting that from acting when you're starting out. Boo, boo. So yeah, honestly, this video's kind of been all over the place, but it's kind of just like a chit chat. Get ready with me. Get ready with me. Like, we're friends and we can just talk about, like, I've never seen like a brown girl like talk about it. Like, how can you become an actor? Like, what is pursuing that career kind of like? Honestly, I do kind of feel like I'm disappointing my mom. It's one thing when you're younger to fight with people about how you're going to pursue this career and you're going to make it and how they don't support you. And then it's a whole other thing when you've been trying and then you've still been struggling, and then it takes a toll on you, it not working out and you feeling like you're disappointing your parents. In my case, I feel like I'm disappointing my mom, and every day she tells me to go into consulting because I have a bachelor's of commerce, and every day I tell her I don't want to go into consulting. And sometimes I feel like it's just easier to pursue your dreams quietly, do what you need to do what you want to do, and don't tell anyone about it until it works out. But on another hand, like, you have to live your life you want to, and you have to live your life authentically, and you gotta do what makes it easier for you. Yeah. What I think is really important for you to know is that even if you don't have connections, even if you don't really know what you're doing, it will work out for you. You are going to live a beautiful, it's so funny talking about this one eyelid closed. You're going to build and make a beautiful life for yourself. And this whole myth that you're gonna be a starving artist, it's just a myth. You don't have to live that life and you don't have to follow follow that path if you don't want to. There are ways that you can pursue a career in acting and also make enough money to sustain yourself until your acting career takes off. There are ways, there are people doing it. That is an option for you. You can pursue what you love and you can also be successful. I believe in you. Like, I know that you can make this work. I know that you can. Even if every single person in your life is telling you that it's a fever dream and that it's too out there, I promise you, I'm right here with you. You can do it. I believe in you. All it takes is a little bit of hard work, persevering through rejection, and not thick skin, but finding strategies for yourself to deal with the reality that this industry is. And that might take some time, and that's also okay. I'm gonna finish up these eyes and come back. When you live your life and have joy, when you fall in love, when you make new friends, when you go through heartbreak, when things in life happen to you, one upside is that all of those experiences contribute to making you you, and all of those will enrich your talent as an actor and who you are as an actor. Because the next time that your character experiences heartbreak, the character that you play, the next time that you have to fall in love, which will happen, you have all of these life experiences to pull from. Honestly, sometimes when something bad happens to me in my life and it's like very, very difficult, one of my coping mechanisms to help myself get through it is I keep thinking like, you know what, like this will help contribute to my acting. Like if my character ever goes through something similar to this, I will now authentically be able to enact it for an audience. And like that kind of is a coping mechanism when hard things in life happen to me. I don't know if that's healthy, but it works for me, okay? The next thing that I wish I knew when I was becoming an actor is that getting an agent should not be easy. If it is easy, you should question why. An agent should never charge you a fee because they're your agent. They make their money when you make money. So when you book a gig, they take a commission out of it. That's the only money they should be asking from you. Some agencies will recommend a photographer for you to update your headshots or recommend a videographer for you to update your demo reel. But they should always recommend it, not mandate it. If they're mandating it, I would run away, okay? There is a list that ACTRA posts, is basically a list of like all the legitimate agencies. They have to like pass certain qualifications to become agencies in Canada. So make sure that the agencies that you're reaching out to are on that list. But even if they're on that list, if you have like no experience, no training, no demo reel, and they accept you, I'd really like you to question why. And is it that they see potential in you? They think that you can book gigs because you fill like a gap in their roster and they think they can make money from you? Or do you think that like this relationship will not foster because you might not even get many opportunities from them in the first place? You know, really take the time to develop your craft, get training, build your demo reel before you reach out to agencies, because when you do finally sign with an agency, it'll be with someone that really sees your potential and like really feels and believes in your higher ability as an actor. Next thing that I wish I knew is that you should really produce your own work. And that's difficult for like me to say because I'm not a writer. I see a lot of actors that write and they love writing and they're good at it. And so they can write roles for themselves to play. And I think that's beautiful. I'm not a very strong writer. It's always kind of been my weak point. Another way that you can produce your own work is by posting your stuff online. If there's a scene from a TV show that I really like, I should just film myself and post it online. Like that's a way that I can produce my own work. You know? Another thing that you can really ask yourself is like, what is it about acting that you like? Is it telling stories? Is it connecting with your character? Do you love like reading scripts, watching movies, reading plays? If that's the case, like yes. But I think there's a lot of actor adjacent careers that might fulfill the passion that you have. So if you love being on camera, consider YouTube, consider journalism, on-screen broadcasting. Is it like the movies that you love, the movies and TV shows? If that is the case, have you considered production, direction, movie marketing? Is acting truly the thing that you want to pursue? Is that the part of this job that I like? Or is it something else? And if it's something else, can I get that in another industry or in another role? My worth, who I am as a person, who I am as an actor, like they can't take that away from you. Those rejections say nothing about you or who you are as a person. The last thing that I want to talk about on a bit of a more serious note is that if you're ever feeling uncomfortable, it is 100% within your rights to say something or to leave the situation. There is not a single person, no matter what they tell you, that can make or break your career. If you are uncomfortable or if you are not liking the situation that you're in, you communicate that and you get out. You like do what you need to do. Whether that's you booked a job and you're uncomfortable for whatever reason, whether you're in an audition room and you're uncomfortable, or whether someone sent you an audition, whether it's an agent or you found one online, and you get a little bit of a sus vibe about it, or you get a bit of like the EBGBs, nothing, not one decision that you make can make or break a career. I think that's especially important for girls pursuing this career. I know that I have either stayed in environments that have made me uncomfortable longer than I should have, or I didn't do anything, mainly because my response to anything uncomfortable is to freeze, but also because I think there is this anxiety and this fear that nothing and nobody, no one person can make or break your career. I promise you. And now that my makeup is done, the last thing that I'm going to talk about that I wish that I knew before I pursued a career in acting is that it is never ever too late to start and never too early to start. I wish I had started sooner. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is today. You do not need to finish acting school to become an actor. You do not need to go to acting school to become an actor. Although I do recommend some kind of training. You are not too young. It's never too early to start. And if you want like a whole video about how to get started, I can absolutely do that for you, but don't wait. Just get started. If this is something that you think you might like, you can do it. You don't have to wait until you quit your job or you're done school. Like, it doesn't require that. You can get started whenever you want. You can get started right now. So if you do want an entirely separate video about that alone, let me know in the comments below. If anything I say in this video resonates with you, please do like the video, subscribe, let me know in the comments. It means a lot to me if something that I said could help you. Love you.